Bitcoin S Genesis Bitcoin Cash hard fork and chain scaling versus second layer solutions. Treating both coins. The crypto space can be hard to break into for those unfamiliar with the jargon, lingo, and foundational knowledge taken for granted by the already initiated. Adding to this difficulty is the fact that there are several different cryptos which bear the name Bitcoin. Convoluted as this all may seem, the differences are pretty easy to understand. This article seeks to explain in simple terms the difference between two of the most popular cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin Cash, BEACH, and Bitcoin Core, BX. Also read an in-depth look at the multi-currency cold storage card Bala2 S Genesis. Before the first version of Bitcoin launched in 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto described his creation in the Bitcoin white paper, or foundational document, as a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, which would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. The ticker symbol for this currency was eventually set as BX. Over the years, however, as disagreements among community members and developers about scaling grew, it became clear that differences were irreconcilable, and that a split in the Bitcoin community via a fork in the protocol would occur. The Bitcoin Cash hard fork group wished to increase the block size significantly to allow for faster processing of transactions, elimination of high transaction fees, and greater ease of use as cash for everyday spending and payments. The other group argued that such high fees were necessary and even desirable, and that extremely slow transaction speeds were a trade-off for a more secure network. Arguments have been made in favor of both sides regarding the issue of security and centralization, as this Twitter thread demonstrates. On August 1, 2017, Bitcoin Cash, BEACH, split from Bitcoin Core, BX, via a hard fork, and the former now features 32M blocks, whereas BX has a theoretical capacity for a max block weight of 4M via a controversial solution known as SegWit. Popular Bitcoin Core narratives have since evolved, saying BX is like digital gold that should not be spent, but only held and saved. This presents a clear problem where Satoshi Nakamoto's vision was specifically for a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash. On-chain scaling versus second-layer solutions. Adding to the specialized language, buzzwords and other crypto terminology that inundates newcomers to the space is the idea of a second layer. This is exactly what it sounds like, a new layer on top of a blockchain where transactions and settlements can be made prior to being set in stone in the underlying chain. One such popular and developing second layer for BX is known as the Lightning Network. Wait a minute, a crypto noob might interject. If the idea of Bitcoin is to increase transparency, simplicity and trustlessness in transactions, wouldn't a second layer only complicate things? In this case, the neophyte would be onto something. While second-layer solutions such as the Lightning Network are often touted as being the answer to all of BX's scaling and congestion issues, as with SegWit, there are numerous criticisms and potential problems. One of which being the necessity of trusting unknown parties with the transmission of one's funds, prior to said transaction being written into a block. The Bitcoin Cash network does not rely on such a second layer as it has more capacity and speed for processing transactions directly on-chain. Though there are critics of this approach as well, when it comes to the ability to use crypto as cash and a readily navigable user experience, the principle that unnecessary complications mean more potential problems comes into play, which is part of the reason BEACH separated from BX. Trying both coins' best way to understand the fundamental differences between Bitcoin Cash, BEACH, and Bitcoin Core, BX, is to dive in and try the two currencies out. By sending small amounts back and forth with a friend, across multiple wallets, or using them to pay for goods and services, one gets a feel for how they work, can compare fees and transaction times. You can read full post on CryptoFans News, link available in text below.